She discovered the incredible truth: the single father she ignored was her hidden first love. Emily Sanders clutched her notepad like a shield as she entered the small bakery, the scent of freshly baked bread wrapping around her like a warm hug. Memories flooded her mind: birthday cakes, laughter, and the gentle encouragement of a boy whose name she hadn't said in ages, Jake. Now, he was the man standing behind the counter, flour dusted on his apron, an earnest look on his face as he handed a pastry to a customer. This wasn't just another story, it was a chance to prove herself. The corporate chain looming over their town didn't just threaten businesses, it threatened roots, family, and love. But there he was, Jake, the embodiment of resilience, facing his fears daily to keep his bakery alive for his little girl, something she might have never truly understood until now. "Hey, Emily," he greeted, his voice warm like the muffins in the oven. She felt a rush of emotions: nostalgia mixed with guilt and a flutter of something more. Their childhood slips away behind them, and here stood the boy who once made her heart race, now a dedicated father. As she began her interviews with the townsfolk, stories of hardship, love, and community spilled into the room, tinged with hope. They spoke of Jake's bakery, his generosity, how he had once offered free treats to kids whose parents were struggling. Each tale pulled at something deep inside her, revealing the hollowness of pursuing ambition over belonging. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Through it all, Jake's determined spirit resurfaced. He wasn't just a bakery owner, but a father doing what it took to provide a life for his child. With each layer of the story she peeled back, her heart cracked open a little more. She remembered the boy she once loved and now saw the man who embodied everything she had longed for: strength, kindness, unwavering commitment. And yet, the closer she got to the truth, the farther away she felt. Articles were being pushed out with headlines seeking clicks, and Emily felt torn between the pursuit of her career and the sincerity of her rediscovered connection with Jake. The people had trusted her; could she betray that trust for a promotion? As the local festival approached, a bittersweet excitement filled the air, buzzing with laughter and joy. In that moment, standing outside the bakery, watching the townsfolk support each other, she realized what was at stake. Was she willing to lose the love and loyalty of a community that once felt like home, just for the glimmer of success? Taking a deep breath, she stood at the crossroads of her past and future. The choices stretched out before her, leaving one looming question: could she truly let go of what had shaped her before and embrace the love waiting for her just around the corner? As dusk began to settle, she felt the bakery's warmth beckoning her in, a flicker of hope lighting the way forward. Emily stepped inside the bakery, the familiar warmth wrapping around her like a beloved blanket. The gentle chime of the door jingling seemed to announce her arrival, yet she felt as if the very walls held their breath, waiting for her next move. Every detail of the bakery brought memories rushing back, memories of a time when laughter flowed easily and dreams felt boundless. Jake looked up from behind the counter, his brow furrowed in concentration as he kneaded dough. The sight both warmed her heart and twisted it with regret. The boy who used to share secrets with her now seemed a universe away, his life completely consumed by fatherhood and responsibility. "Emily, you coming in for a fix?" he called out, breaking the moment. His smile was easy, genuine, igniting something deep within her. She nodded, forcing herself to step forward. "Just wanted to grab a couple of pastries for the festival," she replied, though the words felt hollow. She could feel her resolve crumbling with every second in his presence. As he packed her order, the small bakery seemed to come alive. People flowed in and out, sharing stories, exchanging smiles, and supporting each other in a way she hadn't seen in years. It struck her as odd that they could find joy here amid the looming threat of the corporate chain. It was Jake's spirit, his unwavering dedication, that held them all together. "Have you heard about the festival activities?" Jake asked, handing her a box filled with warm goodies. "There's going to be a bake-off. I'm entering, of course." "Oh. You'll win. You always had the best recipes," she teased, unable to suppress a grin. His eyes sparkled with mischief. "What about you? Are you going to join?" "Me? I don't think I could handle the pressure," she laughed nervously. But as she spoke, she felt a strange pull, an urgency to rediscover the person she used to be, the person who created art for the sake of creativity, not just for clicks. "Maybe it's not about the pressure," he said softly, wiping flour off his hands. "Maybe it's about connecting with the people you care about." His words hung in the air like the sweet scent of cinnamon that seemed to swirl around them. She realized she had been chasing after some ideal presented by her career, sacrificing genuine connections in her pursuit of a story. Just then, Charlotte, Jake's little girl, peeked around the corner. With her wild curls and cheeky smile, she was the very picture of innocence and joy. "Daddy, can we go to the festival now?" she chirped, eyes bright with excitement. Jake knelt beside her, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Just a minute, sweetheart. I need to wrap things up here." Emily's heart swelled at the sight. This was the family she had missed knowing, real, vibrant, and beautiful. A sudden realization washed over her, stronger than she could have expected. She didn't want to just report on their stories, she wanted to be part of this community, to help revive what had always been special. Before she could stop herself, she blurted, "I want to help with the festival. I mean, if you need anyone." Jake looked at her, surprise flickering across his face. There was a pause, an electric moment where everything shifted. "Are you sure?" he asked softly, as if the prospect both thrilled and scared him. "Yes," she affirmed, determination rising within her. The choice was made, but as she felt the warmth of possibility wrap around her, another question loomed large: would embracing this new path bring her closer to Jake, or distance her further from what she had once chased? The festival preparations buzzed with anticipation, and as Emily stepped further into this new role, she couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was on the horizon. What if the real story was not about saving the bakery but rather about finding her way back to love? Emily was still buzzing from her bold declaration as she left the bakery, the warm pastries tucked securely beneath her arm. It felt as if she had stepped into a new version of herself, one that was ready to embrace the uncertainty ahead. She could hear Charlotte's laughter ringing in her ears, a sound that was both new and familiar, like a cherished melody she had forgotten. As she walked through the familiar streets, festooned with colorful bunting and the scent of fried dough wafting from the food stalls, doubt crept in. What if she didn't belong here anymore? The thought pricked her heart like a thorn, but also ignited a glimmer of courage. This festival wasn't just about the bakery, it was a celebration of community, a tapestry of connections she had long abandoned. When she reached her apartment, she tossed the pastries onto the table and took a deep breath. It was now or never. With a resolve she didn't quite understand, she set about mapping out her plan for the festival. A community board had popped up with various volunteer positions, and she pored over it, a sinking feeling creeping in as she saw the spots available. Suddenly, the world outside her window captured her attention. Children chased each other, their laughter echoed against the brick buildings. She felt a pang in her chest. How many moments had she missed, lost in her quest for professional validation? Would she dare to be part of this simple, beautiful chaos? That night, she couldn't sleep. Thoughts swirled in her mind like flour in a mixer. Emily pulled out her laptop and opened a blank document. She began venting her thoughts, articulating the feelings that required a voice. "I'm terrified of stepping back into this life," she typed, "but it feels right." The night air was thick with a mix of anticipation and doubt, and then, her phone rang. Startled, she glanced at the screen. It was Jake. Heart racing, she picked up, wanting to hear his voice, to feel that connection spark once more. "Emily?" he asked, and just like that, the warmth of the bakery filled her mind. "I was thinking about the festival. I'd love to have you on my team for the bake-off." His genuine proposal washed over her like a soft kiss of warmth. "Really? You think I could be of help?" "Absolutely," Jake replied, his laughter light and inviting. "I could use the extra hands, and it'll be fun. Plus, I know you still have that coconut macaron recipe up your sleeve." "Okay," she said, her voice rising with excitement that felt foreign. "I'm in." As the conversation went on, Emily felt the years between them fade away. They talked, laughed, and began to weave together the threads of what she had thought was lost. She could almost imagine standing next to him in the bakery, sharing flour-covered jokes and secrets again. But as she hung up, a troubling thought emerged. Did he still think of her as just a friend? Was he harboring any remnants of that attraction they'd once had? The morning sun peeked through her window, illuminating her doubts. She pictured Jake, his hands buried in dough, that smile that ignited the whole room, and she could feel the pull of their shared past stronger than ever. What if helping him at the bake-off brought their hearts closer, or opened wounds that might never heal? The festival day arrived with a flurry of energy. Music filled the air as vendors set up their stalls. Emily felt exhilarated and nervous all at once, her mind racing with possibilities and fears as she searched for Jake in the bustling crowd. And then, there he was, his figure carved against the backdrop of baked goods and festive lights, and her heart thudded hard in her chest. In that moment, she realized she was standing on the precipice of something significant. Would the festival be a reunion or a goodbye? As she approached him, uncertainty tightened in her chest like a vice. Little did she know that this step into the festival would open doors to revelations she never saw coming. Would she find the love from her past, or stumble upon a truth that could change everything? Emily stepped into the tapestry of the festival, the vibrant colors swirling around her like a whirlwind of new beginnings. Each laugh, each cheer, resonated in her ears, drawing her further away from the insecurities that had dogged her. She pushed the doubt aside. Today was not about what she had lost, but what she had to gain. As she moved closer to Jake, her pulse quickened. He was talking to a few friends, his laughter ringing out like a song she wanted to join. There was warmth in the way he interacted with everyone, a natural charm that both grounded and exhilarated her. "Hey, Jake!" Emily called, waving her hand. He turned, his smile brighter than the festival lights, and her heart skipped. "Emily! You made it!" In that moment, all her uncertainties seemed to melt away, leaving only a spark of excitement. The familiar gaze held depth she hadn't realized existed, an unspoken connection weaving them together. "I brought the coconut macarons," she said, lifting the pastry box proudly. "Ready to win this bake-off?" "Born ready." Jake grinned, taking the box from her. "Let's get this party started." They moved to the bake-off area, the atmosphere humming with energy. Other contestants were already setting their creations on the long tables, each one more extravagant than the last. The scent of baking filled the air, an aroma rich with vanilla, chocolate, and the sweet tang of frosting. Emily felt her hands twitch with the desire to join in, to create, to be part of something again. But as she watched Jake set up their station, the nagging question returned: did he see her, or the memories they once shared? Was she still just a ghost of his past? "Okay, we need to come up with a plan. These bakers are serious," Jake said, rolling up his sleeves. "Right. What's the first step?" As they moved through their strategy, Emily found herself slipping comfortably into the rhythm of collaboration. They laughed like old friends, mixing batter and swirling frosting, but moments of silence hung between them, alive with questions they never voiced. Eventually, she seized a moment, the playful banter between them faltering. "Jake, do you ever think about us? Back then?" He paused, his hands stilling. The noise of the festival faded as they locked eyes. Honestly? I think about it more than I'd like to admit. Her heart raced. There it was, the flicker of vulnerability she craved to explore. Me too, she whispered, feeling the air between them thicken. Suddenly, a shout drew their attention. A vendor's stand toppled over, sending pastries flying everywhere. Laughter erupted from the crowd, diverting their moment. Jake laughed too, but it rang hollow in her ears. He turned back to her, eyes sparkling again, but she could see the flicker of something deeper. Let us win this bake-off first, huh? We can't give up on the dream. Emily nodded, her heart a mix of hope and dread. Baking together, creating again, it sparked a fire within her. Yet, the thought of returning to a reality where he didn't know how she felt loomed like a shadow. They worked side by side, bursting with laughter and creativity, but it wasn't long before something unexpected happened. As they decorated their macarons, Emily noticed a small boy standing off to the side, watching them intently. He looked familiar, and the way he clutched a stuffed teddy bear tugged at her heart. Hey, buddy. Want to help us? She called out, inviting him over. He beamed, and as he joined them, Jake knelt down to greet him. What's your name? Oliver, the boy replied shyly, eyes wide with excitement. Oliver, Jake repeated, his smile growing. Want to help us sprinkle some sugar? As the three of them decorated, Emily felt an unexpected warmth spreading in her chest. Watching Jake interact with Oliver sent waves of emotion through her. Suddenly, a shocking realization gripped her, was this sweet boy his son? Her thoughts swirled, the revelation standing stark against her ideals of what their reunion could be. This festival could be a simple celebration of connection or the start of something more complicated than she ever anticipated. With every sprinkle of sugar, the comfort of familiarity and the weight of her unspoken fears danced around them. What if there were more secrets hiding in the corners of their lives? Just then, Emily glanced at Jake, who was laughing with Oliver. Could it be that the truth rested just beyond the frosting-coated surface? The bake-off simmered with anticipation, and as she took another deep breath, she wondered what had she just uncovered. As the three of them decorated their macarons, Emily felt the warmth of the festival enveloping them in a bubble of joy. Laughter mingled with the sweet scent of desserts, but her heart was racing, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Was Jake really a single father? And if so, what did that mean for her? Mon, put a sprinkle right here. Oliver urged, his tiny fingers directing Jake to pile more sugar atop a macaron. Emily couldn't help but smile at their playful interaction. There was something about the bond they shared that made her heart ache. Jake knelt down, his voice light and encouraging, you got it. Here, put one more right in the center. They all huddled close and giggled as they watched their masterpiece come alive. But Emily couldn't escape the nagging thought, was she too late? Had she missed her chance to be part of a family when she had once envisioned a future with him? Are you going to enter that one in the contest? She asked, trying to break the tension, forcing a grin while her insides churned with uncertainty. Definitely. Jake said with enthusiasm, but his eyes flickered for just a second, as if he could sense her thoughts. In that instant, she realized how much she wanted more than the bake-off or even the macarons. She wanted to get to know Oliver, to discover who Jake had become in their time apart. Hey, Oliver, she said, lowering herself to meet the boy's gaze. Do you come to this festival a lot? He nodded eagerly. This is my favorite. I always help my dad at the bake-off. His eyes sparkled with pride. Just then, a wave of nostalgia washed over Emily. She remembered the times she and Jake had attended festivals like these, their hands entwined as they wandered through stalls, sharing cotton candy and dreams. Would they have been here together, with a son of their own? Her heart pounded as she turned to Jake, whose expression had shifted into something serious. I didn't know you had a son, Jake, she said, her voice soft but firm. Why didn't you tell me? He shifted his weight, glancing at Oliver, who was blissfully oblivious to the shift in mood. It's complicated, Em. After everything. I just didn't think it was the right time. The right time? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Or maybe you just didn't want to. Did you think I'd judge you? No. It's not like that. I didn't want to drag you into my mess, he said, emotion catching in his throat. She could see the weight of the past pressing down on him, and it echoed in her own heart. The sound of the crowd erupted in cheers as a trio of judges approached, signaling the bake-off was about to begin. Jake, noticing the change in atmosphere, quickly masked his feelings. Let us focus on our macarons, he said brightly, but Emily could sense the tension that hung in the air like a heavy curtain. But the truth was out, sitting between them like a wall they could neither ignore nor crumble. As the judges inspected their creation, Emily watched Jake interact with Oliver, his gentleness illuminating everything she remembered about him. It was beautiful and terrifying. Could she really be a part of this little family? The competition went smoothly, but as they neared the finish line, Emily's gut turned again. The festival seemed to fade away while she stood frozen, wrapped in thoughts. What would it mean to take a step forward? Suddenly, as they prepared for the judge's verdict, Oliver tugged on her sleeve. Can you be my friend and help my dad bake more? His innocent request felt like a door wide open, waiting to be walked through. Heart racing, Emily looked at Jake. Their eyes locked, asking the very questions they couldn't say out loud. Can I? She whispered, the urgency palpable in the air between them. As she held her breath, a realization dawned on her. Was this tiny boy the connection she had longed for? The start of a new chapter? In that moment, before the judges announced the winner, everything hung in uncertainty. Would Jake welcome her back? Would she dare take the plunge into this new life? Now, as the crowd buzzed with excitement, her heart felt like it might burst. Were they really ready to face the truth and build something new together? But just as she was about to speak, a sudden commotion erupted from behind. Emily turned, her breath catching in her throat. What now? Emily spun around, her heart stuttering in her chest. The cheerful atmosphere of the festival faded for a moment as she tried to catch her breath. Behind them, a scuffle broke out among a group of teenagers who had been jostling for position to see the baking competition. Hey, watch it! One shouted, and another cursed in frustration when someone knocked over a display of cupcakes. Icing splattered across the pavement, turning the cheerful decorations into chaotic puddles. But right in the middle of that chaos stood a woman with bright red hair, waving her arms as she shouted, "Stop it! You're ruining the festival." Emily squinted to see her face. It was familiar but distant, like a voice from her past echoing in her mind. It was Amanda, Jake's sister. Oh my gosh, Emily muttered under her breath, her stomach flipping in a mix of embarrassment and surprise. Memories flooded back of summer evenings, laughter, and the comforting presence of family gatherings. Amanda had always been the spirited force, always ready to defend her loved ones, but the years had changed them all. Jake followed her gaze, frustration etched across his features. Not again, I swear they always find a way to mess things up. Let me help, Emily offered before she thought it through. The urge to jump in and mend the situation felt stronger than her hesitation about stepping back into Jake's world. Without waiting for a response, she rushed over, trying to navigate through the crowd. Hey, everyone! She called out, raising her voice above the din. Why don't we all just take a breath and help clean this up? A few puzzled faces turned her way, and the atmosphere shifted. With a little more encouragement, the teens began to step back from the ruckus. Some crouched to help pick up cupcakes and clean frosting spills. Amanda looked relieved as she recognized Emily, offering a quick nod of thanks. As the scene calmed, she caught Jake's eye. He was watching her, an almost incredulous look on his face. The expression sent a rush of warmth through her. Had she really just jumped in to help? Was this the first step toward something more? Oliver ran up to her, eyes wide with admiration. "You were super brave," he exclaimed, bouncing on his little feet. "Can you come help more often?" Her breath hitched. What was happening? The warmth and excitement of the festival collided with the whirlwind of emotions inside her. The tiny voices of obligation and fear began to drown out as hope took root. "Maybe I can," she said tentatively, glancing back at Jake. The hope in Oliver's eyes ignited something in her chest. They weren't far from building something if she dared to act. Jake strode over, his expression a mix of awe and something deeper. "I didn't know you still had it in you," he said, his voice low but filled with admiration. "You always were a good problem solver." The weight of his words hung between them, the past whispering of all the moments they shared. The ease with which they fell into conversation felt familiar and comforting. Yet, they both knew the stakes were higher now. Just as the tension began to soften, a voice called from the side. "Excuse me. Are you the one who helped with the crisis?" A contest official approached, clipboard in hand. "We'd like to recognize you for your involvement." Emily froze, caught off guard. The spotlight shifted to her, gathering curiosity from those nearby. Could she really step further into this? Stand up in front of crowds again, but this time not just for herself? The fear of judgment and vulnerability danced in her thoughts. Jake stepped closer, encouraging her with a small nod. "You should do it, Em. You've got this." But as she prepared to speak, her heart raced with a different kind of fear. What if saying yes pulled her deeper into this life with Jake and Oliver than she was ready for? Was she really ready for that next step? Just as she opened her mouth to respond, Oliver tugged on her sleeve again, wide-eyed. "Will you be my new forever friend?" Her breath caught in her throat. Could she say yes? Was she ready for a commitment that meant so much more? And while the crowd held its breath, waiting for her words, uncertainty gripped her heart, leaving her searching for the courage she hoped was there. What would she decide? Emily took a deep breath, her heart racing like a hummingbird. The eyes of the crowd were on her, expectant and curious. Oliver's innocent question echoed in her mind, a sweet melody entwined with memories of laughter and joy. Could she really say yes? But as she looked at Jake, standing just a few feet away, uncertainty curled around her. His dark eyes searched hers, filled with encouragement, but also unspoken questions. What did he want from her? Did he see her as part of his life again? She knew that saying yes to Oliver would mean accepting a place in their little family, something she hadn't fully processed. The idea glittered with joy and shimmered with fear. "Forever friend," she whispered, still digesting the weight of his words. It ignited a flicker of warmth deep inside, like the first spark in a bonfire. "I'd love to be that," she finally said, surprised at her own clarity. A cheer erupted from Oliver, and his face lit up with pure delight. "Really?" he squeaked, bouncing again in pure glee. The laughter from the crowd felt like a rush of wind, pulling her in. They clapped and hollered, and suddenly, she was swept up in the moment, the laughter and the happiness swirling around her like cotton candy. Jake stepped forward, his grin softer now, a hint of pride in his expression. "See? You've got a knack for this," he said, his voice warm and genuine. "You're already amazing at making him smile." Emily felt her cheeks flush at the compliment. Could she take this deeper? In that moment, surrounded by laughter and the remnants of cupcake chaos, a new kind of determination blossomed within her. "Why don't I help more?" she proposed, her voice stronger now, no longer tentative. His eyebrows lifted, surprise washed over his features. "You'd really join us?" "Yeah, I want to," she replied, her heart racing at the thought of more nights like this. "I mean, if you'll have me." "Absolutely." Amanda chimed in, beaming with enthusiasm. But before they could dive deeper into their plans, the contest official stepped closer, clipboard poised, and a glimmer of mischief in his eyes. "Now, my dear," he said, "let us formally thank you for your quick thinking. How about you introduce the next contest?" Emily's stomach leaped. What had she gotten herself into? The spotlight was dimly intimidating, yet a hint of excitement danced just beneath the surface. A rush of adrenaline coursed through her veins. She opened her mouth to protest, but the words got stuck in her throat. Jake leaned closer, his presence steadying. "You are going to shine like the star you are," he whispered, confident. Her fear began to melt away, replaced by the present warmth of community. She felt ready to face whatever challenge lay ahead. Gathering her thoughts, she nodded quickly and moved towards the front of the crowd, the murmurs fading into silence. Just as she positioned herself on the makeshift stage, a sudden wave of confidence surged through her. Perhaps this was the moment to reclaim her voice, to be seen, but also to explore what it meant to be back in this orbit with Jake and his family. And then, the unexpected happened. A voice rang out from the back. "Emily." It was Mrs. Thompson, their old neighbor. "Is that really you?" The surprise mixed with a sense of nostalgia wrapped around her like a warm blanket. What did she mean by that? There were ghosts in her past that felt far from buried. As the crowd turned to look, her heart thumped with renewed urgency. Old secrets, long-dormant feelings, and lost connections danced threateningly on the edges of her mind. Now, she stood at an intersection. One path led through the familiar warmth of the festival and the promise of new beginnings with Jake and Oliver. The other veered back into her past, where unresolved feelings lay waiting like unturned stones. What choice would she make? Would she reclaim her voice in the present or dredge up old ghosts? The question hung in the air, heavy and potent. As she felt all eyes on her, she inhaled deeply, ready to step forward into the unknown. The stage was set for more than just an announcement. It felt like the start of something far larger. What would she uncover in this twist of fate? Emily felt her heart race, mirroring the anxious energy of the crowd. Their eyes were on her, waiting for her to speak, to fill the space that had just been electrified by Mrs. Thompson's familiar voice. The world around her faded as a flood of memories crashed in playdates, whispered secrets, and the bittersweet ache of lost friendship. "Mrs. Thompson," she called out, her voice trembling at the edges. "It's been a long time." People shifted, their attention captivated by this unexpected twist. Emily's stomach churned with questions. Had it really been so long since she felt the warmth of that neighborhood? Even years later, the weight of nostalgia wrapped around her. Would she share what she felt, or would she retreat again, hiding behind the walls she had built over the years? Mrs. Thompson stepped closer, her smile genuine. "I can hardly believe it's you. You have grown into such a lovely woman. Everyone here has been buzzing about your reunion with Jake and Oliver." That word, reunion, crashed into her heart. Reunion meant revisiting what was once lost. For a moment, she felt as if she were standing on the edge of a precipice, staring down at a memory she thought she'd put to rest. What did that mean for her? Glancing at Jake, she caught the flicker of concern behind his smile. His eyes held a mixture of pride and apprehension. Could he sense her hesitance, the inner battle playing out behind her calm facade? As she stood on that stage, surrounded by the festival's excitement, feelings of insecurity and hope collided within her. "Hey everyone! I'd like to take a moment to thank the wonderful volunteers who made this event possible." Her voice grew stronger, fueled by the encouragement radiating from the crowd. Cheers erupted, lifting her spirits momentarily. But then, the deeper truth clawed back into her mind. She hadn't answered Mrs. Thompson's question. She hadn't defined who she was in that moment: a friend, a stranger, a possibility. "Just like this festival," she continued, her heart pounding, "it feels like we're all here, reconnecting over what brings us joy. For me, it's about family." The word felt heavy and sweet on her tongue. And making a real difference in Oliver's life and maybe in the lives of others who need it. A burst of applause broke out, and she smiled, but her mind raced. She could feel the weight of every word, both a reflection and a leap of faith. Being there, facing the crowd, rekindled a determination she thought she had buried. Maybe she didn't need to be superhuman, perhaps she just needed to show up. As she scanned the crowd again, she saw Mrs. Thompson whispering to an older gentleman standing beside her. They exchanged looks, and a wave of recognition washed over Emily. But it was not until she noticed Jake stepping forward, his expression both proud and concerned, that she realized she was standing at the crux of two worlds: this new life she longed for and the past she had left behind. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Oliver's voice rang like a bell. "Can we have a dance, Emily?" His eyes sparkled with innocence, and Emily couldn't resist. The tension melted away for a moment, and she laughed, nodding. "Yes. Let's dance." And that when it hit her, this was about more than reconnecting with the past. It was about delighting in the present. As she stepped down from the stage, Oliver grasped her hand, pulling her toward the dance floor. Laughter erupted again, a symphony of voices swirling together, blending everything that felt good. But even amidst the joy, she could still sense something looming. With Mrs. Thompson's careful whisper and that familiar face in the crowd, she understood some questions wouldn't stay buried. As they twirled, laughter echoed around them, but Emily felt a shadow watching, a reminder that not all paths are easy to navigate. What other secrets lay hidden in the shadows of her past? Would she have the strength to face whatever or whoever awaited her when the music finally faded? Emily twirled with Oliver, their laughter mingling with the vibrant music that filled the festival air. Each spin felt like a reminder that she was alive, that joy could still exist even amidst the ghosts of her past. But with every beat, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was dancing with one foot in nostalgia and the other in an uncertain future. As they finished the song, Oliver beamed at her, his energy infectious. The garden was filled with families, smiles, and the warmth of community, something Emily had once craved but now felt like an outsider looking in. "Can we dance again later?" he asked. "Absolutely. Whenever you're ready," she replied, squeezing his hand gently. As he ran off to join other kids, Emily caught sight of Jake leaning casually against a nearby booth. He seemed deep in thought, his expression shadowed as he watched the couple nearby sharing a moment. An instinct pulled her towards him, an urge to bridge the gap that had grown like a chasm between their past and present. "Hey," she said softly, stepping closer. "You okay?" Jake looked up, his face shifting from contemplation to a warm smile. "Just taking it all in," he replied, but there was something in his eyes, a flicker of hesitance. "You were amazing out there." "Thank you. I just didn't want to mess it up." The honesty slipped from her lips, exposing her insecurities. "You didn't," he assured her, shifting closer. "Seeing you up there, it reminded me of who you used to be. You always had a light about you." The warmth of his compliment seeped into her chest, but doubt lingered like a shadow. "And who am I now?" Jake paused, the weight of her question hanging between them. The festival hummed around them, families gathering, children laughing, but all she felt was a knot tightening in her stomach. Before he could respond, the murmur of the crowd and the clatter of nearby stalls suddenly quieted. Emily felt the air shift as she turned to see Mrs. Thompson approaching, flanked by the older gentleman she had noticed earlier. "Emily," Mrs. Thompson began, her voice steady yet containing an undercurrent of urgency. "There's someone you should meet." The older man stepped forward, eyes filled with a warmth that sent an unexpected chill down Emily's spine. There was recognition there, something deep and profound. "Emily, this is Mr. Harris," Mrs. Thompson introduced. "He was a dear friend of your parents. I think it's time you learned about your past." The word settled over her like a heavy blanket. Time stood still. Mr. Harris looked at her, his gaze intense and searching, and for a moment, she felt the weight of years and secrets hanging in the air. "Your mother, she always spoke highly of you, Emily." "I have something for you, from her," he said, producing a small box from his pocket that seemed so delicate it might crumble at a touch. "It's time you understood everything." The truth, her heart raced. What could this man hold that would change everything she thought she knew? The sound of her heartbeat thudded in her ears, drowning out the laughter and chatter surrounding them. Jake, sensing the shift, moved closer, a frown crossing his face. He reached for her hand, grounding her amidst the upheaval of emotions. "Emily, you don't have to do this," he whispered, concern etched on his features. But somewhere deep within, a flicker of curiosity ignited. What truth awaited her in that box? Was it a pathway to healing, or merely another layer of pain? As she took a deep breath, the atmosphere tinged with a sense of impending revelation, she knew that this moment might change everything. She felt the eyes of the crowd upon her, the hope and anticipation thick in the air. What secrets did Mr. Harris carry? And as she reached for the box, would she be ready for what lay inside? Emily took a deep breath, her fingers trembling as she reached for the small box. The world around her faded away, leaving only the weight of the moment, the unsolved questions of her past and the potential truths that could reshape her future. Jake stood close, his presence a steady anchor in the turmoil of her emotions. As the reality of what lay before her began to sink in, she felt both fear and excitement swirl within her like confetti tossed in the wind. Mrs. Thompson watched with gentle compassion, while Oliver played nearby, blissfully unaware of the gravity of this encounter. The laughter and joy of the festival seemed like a distant echo, replaced by her pounding heart and racing thoughts. "Emily, you can open it when you're ready," Mr. Harris said, his voice a soothing balm to her frayed nerves. "But know that the truth can bring healing and closure. You deserve to know." She paused, staring at the box resting in her palms as if it were a treasure filled with hope or a Pandora's box of sorrows. Memories and shadows flickered in her mind, the laughter of her parents, the echoes of childhood wonder, mixed with vague memories that hinted at something more profound, more complicated. Finally, she nodded, her decision firm. "I want to know." Slowly, she lifted the lid, a rustle of soft paper revealing a necklace that caught the sunlight, its delicate chain shimmering with the promise of deeper connections. A locket dangled from the chain, adorned with intricate designs that seemed to whisper tales of a past long hidden. As she held it, something shifted, an ancient bond began to stir within her. Testimony of love and loss. She remembered her mother wearing something like this, glancing at it with a thoughtful smile, a moment she'd half forgotten until now. With trembling fingers, she opened the locket to find a small photograph tucked inside. It was a picture of her parents, young and full of life, laughter etched into their expressions. But behind them hovered a shadow, a figure who seemed almost forgotten, someone she couldn't recall. For reasons she couldn't quite grasp, a piece of her heart ached for this connection. Jake stepped closer, curiosity dancing in his gaze. "What's inside?" It's my family," she murmured, a storm of emotions crashing around her. "But there's a person here I don't recognize." Mr. Harris nodded knowingly. "That's a part of your story I came to share. Your family holds a legacy that can also help you shape your future. Your parents loved deeply, Emily, but they faced challenges that might explain why you felt distant from them growing up." Every word was a step into the unknown, drawing her deeper into the legacy of love entwined with loss. She felt a knot forming in her throat, battling between wanting to wallow in the shadows of her past and yearning to step boldly into her future. Moments passed as she held the locket to her chest, feeling the weight of her family's love surround her. She thought of Jake and Oliver, the warmth their family offered, and suddenly it felt like clarity ignited within her. Maybe it was time to rewrite her own story, one that embraced the connection to her roots while forging forward into the arms of a love rekindled. "Thank you for bringing this to me," she said quietly, looking up at Mr. Harris. "It means more than I can say." A smile stretched across his face, the wrinkles revealing how much he cared. Your journey has just begun, Emily. Embrace the truth, it will guide you. With a deep breath, she turned to Jake, feeling the gravity of every unresolved emotion, every unvoiced question. I want to be part of this, Jake. I want to be a part of this community, a part of Oliver's life, and I want you in mine. His expression softened, hope flickering with understanding. Are you sure? You don't have to rush into anything. I know it's a lot. No, she shook her head, pulling Jake closer. This feels right. I can't ignore what my heart knows anymore. Jake's eyes sparkled with something she hadn't seen before, a glimmer of potential, a hint of a beautiful future, yet deep down, they also held the weight of the past years of longing. Together, then? He asked softly, his voice threading through her heart with warmth. Yes, together, she agreed wholeheartedly, feeling the tender thrum of connection flowing around them. Let us create this new story as a family. A genuine smile broke across his face like dawn breaking through the horizon. His hand grasped hers, fingers interlacing, grounding her in this moment of undeniable love, as Oliver darted back to them with a group of kids pulling him toward the dance floor. Come on, you guys. Let us keep dancing. He shouted, innocence radiating from his spirit. As they walked together into the heart of the festival, Jake, Emily, and Oliver, the sweetness of the locket nestled against her heart like a reminder of love, connection, and new beginnings. With laughter echoing around them, Emily realized that at that moment, she had become exactly who she was meant to be, a beacon of love, familial bonds, and community. The future was hers to forge, rooted in the honest warmth of the past, thriving in the love they would cultivate together. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Emily knew this was the beginning of a beautiful new chapter they would write together. Emily smiled brightly at Jake as the music swelled around them, knowing the journey ahead would be filled with laughter, challenges, and the unshakable strength of family. Now, be inspired to create your own story. You need to subscribe now to our channel for more exclusive narratives that celebrate love and transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because every interaction matters. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let us know how this story inspired you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Let us spread the love together.